Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, namaste. I'm happy to be here today with my colleague, who is the sales engineer for India, Mr. Raja Sekaran. He's over there. Unfortunately, other people were unable to travel today and yesterday, so I have to do it myself alone. But anyway, I'm here so we can talk. The esteemed speakers we had this morning who preceded me in session one, they gave me a lot of inputs on the railway networks in India. And they were talking about the system, and congratulations, because I could see that there is a fantastic development and a very rapid development of the railways in India. What I'm going to talk about is what is under the coaches of a train, which are the railway sleepers and the tubing and piping which goes into the hydraulic and air systems of the coaches. So I will give you a very brief presentation on the company I represent today, which is Ralc Italia. So Ralc Italia is situated in the northeast of Italy, which is very close to the Austrian and Slovenian border. And we are about an hour's drive from the airport of Venice, so it's very easy to reach us in case anybody wants to see us. We would like to speak a little bit about what is the situation in India concerning the railways, which we are not very directly connected with it because we actually manufacture machinery. So the machines we manufacture are for processing pipes, tubes, metals, and rods for the railway systems. We realize that we are utilizing different methods of fabrication in Italy respect to what is being manufactured today in India. So I collected some information from various sources, so please forgive me if they are not updated or not absolutely what is the situation today. But in any way, just to give you a few words about us, we are since 35 years manufacturing machinery. Our main targets are to supply our customers with technological and innovative systems to manufacture whatever they have which are concerned with tube and metal working with our machinery and our systems. We work very closely in collaboration with our customers because our machines are not standard machines. The components are standard, but the systems we adopt, we elaborate, and we develop are studied together with our customers. So we do a very, say, interacting relation with our customers, so we can understand exactly what are their requirements and develop our systems accordingly. In the past few months, I have been traveling quite a lot in the country, and I had the opportunity of visiting very many factories, manufacturing tube components, manufacturing components for the coaches, manufacturing the steel rods which go into the sleepers, into the concrete sleepers which are placed on the floor onto which the tracks are placed. And I realized that these two areas are bringing a lot of interest to our customers in the sense that we have a different view of manufacturing than what they are currently utilizing. So they are curious to know what we can propose. So our first step and our first reaction with a customer is to convey our knowledge, our experience, and whatever we have available so that they can find out something which maybe is interesting for them. So we find that this is the most and the best, the easiest and the best way to interact with them. We know that, we heard that in India there are something like 135,000 kilometers of railway tracks, which is amazing. And it seems that India is the third or the fourth largest, say, country, the country with the largest number, biggest number of kilometers of railways. So I didn't know that, but this is what I got from my research. And of course, the speakers who were in session 1 gave us a lot of information about the railways, how they are developing, the speeds of the trains, and the Vande Bharat Express and the Namo Bharat, the Gatiman Express, and programmed for high-speed trains and so on. So we are very much amazed about how many things are going on and so fast, so quickly. So I want to do something and help in some way and transfer my knowledge, my experience to the Indian manufacturers with all the possible help, with all the possible information we have available. Now, if we go back to the 2 areas into which we are interested in this particular summit, I would not touch the other areas where we are active, because we work in the aerospace industry, automotive industry, in the marine industry. We supply our machinery to the steel mills who are manufacturing tubes and rods for cutting, bending, and forming, shaping of these components and manufacturing. We also work for people who manufacture metal furniture, the business and construction industry for scaffolding, which need to be cut to measurement. They need to be welded with the brackets. They need to be fitted on, assembled, and welded automatically. I'm using quite often the word automatic, but automatic is something which is inflated. I mean, what I want to say is that when we utilize a system which is automated, you reduce manpower, you sensibly reduce the amount of possibilities to have wastage, scrap, and you can optimize raw materials, because our systems and our machinery propose to utilize metals with very, very little scrap. So what I will do is I will try just to give you some indications, even because time is my enemy, and today we don't have very much time. I can see I just have a few minutes left. So let's talk about the sleepers. The sleepers on the railways are made in very many different ways, but the most common is the concrete. Now, the concrete sleepers, which are manufactured today, are made with 3-rod and 7-rod strands, which are placed inside for long lengths of, say, up to even over 100 meters, and the concrete is poured into these blocks, and then when they are dried, and they are cut into size to bring it to the correct width of the railway tracks. What we do in Europe, and that's say 90% of the companies in Europe, are manufacturing it in a little different way. It's again concrete, and it's a pre-compressed concrete, as it's obvious. But the steel rods, which are introduced into the concrete before it's poured into the molds, is a very high resistant material, which undergoes a specific treatment, which is a heating and a low relaxation, which gives the steel rods a very high resistance, up to around 1,700 newtons, which is very much. And the effects are that this is necessary to keep a very high-grade of resistance to compression and traction. And there are very many other characteristics, like they reduce the noise sensibly. They can eliminate as much as possible the dangerous vibrations which occur. The concrete doesn't crack, doesn't split during the trains running. They have very low maintenance or almost nothing. And so that's how, the railway tracks are built in Italy. The sleepers are the basic, I'd say, that's what's at the bottom of the track, so that's what is mostly important, to my opinion, for the railway, for the trains to run on. And especially if we are talking about trains which have to go over 160 kilometers per hour, and I read that the trains in 2028 or 2030 could go very close to 300 kilometers an hour. So that's very high speed. And if the tracks are not perfect and the sleepers are not perfectly manufactured, this could create a potential danger. So we are obviously very much interested in this particular field of activities. So Ralc Italia, is 35 years old now, but they bought off the company called CONI, and that was a company which was specializing in cutting machinery. That was in 1965, the company was established, so it's very many years now we are on the market. Now, I will go straight away to the railways. So the railways we have now, these are what we were talking about. These are the sleepers. As you can see on the right-hand side, you will see the steel rods with the nuts. So what happens is that these steel rods are introduced into the cabin. It's a little bit, okay, here you are. So you can see this is how the steel is placed. The steel bar is threaded on both the ends, and it's a cold roll process for threading. And the diameter of the thread is a little bit higher, say around 0.2, 0.3 millimeters more than the steel rod. And then the concrete is formed with vibration. It takes around 24 hours approximately to get dry, and then those blocks become sleepers, which are extremely resistant. This is a pre-tensioning system, but there is also a post-tensioning system, which is different from what is used today with the strands. As you can see on the picture on the right, there is an example of the strands which are being welded to avoid them from slipping before the concrete is poured into the molds. And even cutting is a problem, because when you cut a mold which is 100 meters long, you don't cut it in the proper way, then the components which are coming out don't have the same characteristics. With the pre-tensioning mode, obviously the characteristics are exactly the same in each one of the sleepers. This is how the thread looks like. So you can see an 8 millimeter diameter. This is a high carbon steel. In Europe, we call it PC wire. So it's a pre-stressed steel, which is put into the blocks, into the molds. They are tightened to a certain stage. And then when the concrete is dried, the bolts are removed and they are used again for manufacture. So these are just some views which are on the screen, which are different parts. I'm not going to read all this stuff for you because that will just bore you. But I would just like to show you maybe this is how the machine looks like. This is a loading system. These units are the units which are controlling the length of the tube automatically, deburring or chamfering the edges, the two ends of the rod. And then there is a third step, which is threading with the cold roll forming. And the fourth step, which is the last picture on your left, is where we control the diameter and the pitch of the threads, which have to guarantee that the nuts are fitting perfectly. This is the instrument which is being manufactured and installed on our machinery. This is a general view of the machine. These are customers which are, yes. in Spain, in the USA, who are using our machines, in Portugal, Fabricela, and so on. Okay, so these are basically the systems which we are proposing. And there are other systems, but I don't think I will have time to show you, which are for tube processing, because we do a lot of work on the pipes, actually, which are being utilized for the hydraulic systems and the air systems and so on. Just very quickly, I think I will show you this one. This is just an example of a system which is cutting, bending, and end forming together. So this is a bending machine, but the other one is this one, just a few seconds more and I've finished. So this is a complete work cell, which is basically been formed to help a customer to start from a straight bar, a straight tube, which is cut to length automatically. And once it's cut to length, it gets automatically processed. I mean, it is being marked with a laser printer. Then there is an end former, which is manufacturing the shape which is required on the tubes, and then it continues. This is the brushing the tube ends after it has been cut, so there are no chips and no burrs at the tube ends. So the left and the right side of the tubes are both brushed with stainless steel brushes to keep them clean. And then from there they go forward into the next step, which is the marking. It could be either a laser marking, or it could be any other dot prints or laser or any other sort of printing or labeling if it's necessary. So once it has been marked, the tube is automatically transferred into another position where the inside of the tube needs to be cleaned with a bullet, which is a plastic bullet. This specific customer required that. And then there are two solutions. One is to continue with a robot to do the end forming and the, let's say, the bending. Or you can do it manually if you don't need this. So that's where it is. So you can see it gets into the machine, makes the bend, picks up the part, and throws it out. So these tubes could be from anything from 10 millimeters to 60 millimeters diameter. Stainless steel, aluminum, copper, whatever else. Okay, so I think I've finished. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time.